Hello everyone. Now I am going to tell you about the differences between direct inguinal hernia and indirect inguinal hernia. In inguinal hernia, we have two rings. That is, one is the deep inguinal ring and the other one is a superficial inguinal ring. They are kind of a defect in this area. So the deep one is the one which is present laterally and the superficial one is the one which is present medially. So that part which is connecting both are the inguinal canal. When the abdominal contents travel through the deep inguinal ring into the inguinal canal and through the superficial ring, and then when it protrudes outside, then it is known as the indirect inguinal hernia. So because it is taking the longer route and it is indirect. But when the contents doesn't take the long route, but instead when it comes out through a defect in the abdominal wall, say for example, that is known as the Hasselbachs triangle. So this Hasselbachs triangle is this triangle which is formed by the lateral border of the rectus abdominis muscle. So this is the rectus abdominis muscle. That lateral border forms the medial border of this triangle, and this inguinal ligament forms the lower border of it, and the inferior epigastric vein forms the lateral boundary. So there is a small abdominal defect, a defect kind of, which happens, that is the direct inguinal hernia which goes through the Hasselbachs triangle. The Hasselbachs triangle is this defect which is in this triangle shape, and that happens because of chronic straining, of weakened abdominal muscles, of surgery in old age, in chronic coughing. So in all that there is weak abdominal musculature, and this triangle is formed and the contents protrude through it. This is known as the direct inguinal hernia. So the direct inguinal hernia happens medial to the inferior epigastric vein. But in indirect inguinal hernia, since this is taking this longer route, it is lateral to the inferior epigastric vein, if you see in this picture. So this is in short about the difference between the direct and the indirect inguinal hernia.